بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونتوب إليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على نبينا وحبيبنا محمد الأمين وعلى آله وأزواجه وصحابته الطاهرين أجمعين وأكرمنا معهم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. آمين يا رب العالمين. First and foremost, we alight an instant in the root of Hamdalah to express the truth pearl in simplicity word. All praises to the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator of everything in the universe, who has given us his mercies and blessing for us to gather today, albeit virtually, to participate in the International Conference on Contemporary Islamic Studies, ICIS 2021, organized by Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies, ICIS, University Technology Mara, UITM, Shah Alam, Malaysia. May salawat and salam always be presented to our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who has guided us into the right ways of life, leading us from the darkness into light, teaching us attributes of kindness, honesty, generosity, forgiveness, and others to our families, friends, and foe alike. Alhamdulillah wa shukrulillah. واستفتحوا بالذي هو خير عليه توكلنا وإليه أنبنا وإليه المصير والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. And very good morning. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, let's begin our ceremony by reciting Kitab and listening to the Quranic recitation from Surah Fatir, verse 27 to 30, presented by Yang Berusaha Dr. Hajar Opir, Deputy Dean of Student Affairs, ICIS UITM. أيها الحاضرون والحاضرات، نستهل مؤتمرنا هذا بقراءة الكتاب واستماع إلى تلاوة القرآن العظيم. لذا سنعيش هذه اللحظات ربانية مع القارئ الدكتور حجر أوفير، الذي سيتلو علينا ما يتيسر له من سورة فاطر ابتداء من الآية 27 إلى 30. فليتفضل مأجورا.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Let us begin together with Surah Al-Fatiha. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم تر أن الله أنزل من السماء ماء فأخرجنا به ثمرات مختلفا ألوانها ومن الجبال جدد بيض وخمر مختلف ألوانها وغرابيب الأسود ومن الناس والدواب والأنعام مختلف ألوانه كذلك إنما يخشى الله من عباده العلماء إن الله عزيز غفور إن الذين يتلون كتاب الله وأقاموا الصلاة وأنفقوا مما رزقناهم سرا وعلانية يرجون تجارة لن تبور ليوفيهم أجورهم ويزيدهم من فضله إنه غفور شكور صدق الله العظيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين وعسى أن يسير هذا المؤتمر الدولي سيرا طيبا ومباركا فيه. Thank you very much. May this recitation call for Allah's blessing and that our event today is smooth sailing. Amin ya Rabbal Alamin. Yang amat berhormat Tan Sri Datuk Haji Muhyiddin bin Haji Muhammad Yassin, Prime Minister of Malaysia, Professor Technologist Dr. Hajar Roziah Muhammad Janur, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and International, exercising the functions of the Vice Chancellor, University Technology Mara, Associate Professor Dr. Nur Hidayah Muhammad Hashim, Deans of Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies, ICIS, University Technology Mara, Professor Datuk Dr. Abdul Halim bin Tamuri, Rector, International Islamic University College, Selangor, Professor Dr. Ahmad Ar-Raisuni, President of International Union Muslim Scholars, Professor of Usul Fiqh, College of Sharia and Islamic Studies, Qatar University, Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Afandi Madrani, Director of ICIS 2021, representatives from Permodalan Nasional Berhad PNB and Bank Kerjasama Rakyat Malaysia as our main sponsors, our co-sponsors from Majlis Agama Islam Wilayah Persekutuan, Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad, Maybank Islamic, Zakat, Sedekah and Wakaf Division Zawaf UITM, and Koperasi Sahabat Amanah Ikhtiar Malaysia, and all collaborators from Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, International Islamic University College Selangor, International Institute of Advanced Islamic Studies Malaysia, Maqasid Institute Malaysia, Basnas Center of Strategic Studies, Malaysian Journal for Islamic Studies, Malaysian Institute of Translation and Book, and Department of Awqaf, Zakat and Hajj, Jauhar. Respected ICIS lecturers, admin staffs, and guests from various faculties, departments, division, and units throughout UITM, and last but not least, our beloved ICIS undergraduates and postgraduate students, Ikhwatuna fil Islam, Hafidhakumullah. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to welcome our distinguished guests, speakers, collaborative and strategic partners, and all participants to this conference. There is no doubt that without your support, this conference would not have been possible. As we are all aware, this conference is being telecast live using YouTube platform by UITM channel. Sayyidati Nisati wa Sadati, nuhayyikum wa nurahhibu bikum fil Mu'tamar al-Dawli للدراسات الإسلامية المعاصرة لعام 42 و400 وألف من الهجرة الموافق عام 21 و2000 من الميلاد التي تنظمه أكاديمية الدراسات الإسلامية المعاصرة. أيها السادة الكرام، كلمة ترحيبية بمناسبة هذا المؤتمر تلقيها لنائب الرئيس الجامعة. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, yang berbahagia, Professor Technologies, Dr. Hajar Roziah Muhammad Janur, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and International, exercising the functions of the Vice Chancellor, University Technology Mara, UITM, will now present the welcoming speech. فليتفضل مشكورا.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera and a very good morning. Yang amat berhormat Tan Sri Datuk Haji Muhyiddin bin Haji Muhammad Yassin, Prime Minister of Malaysia, Associate Professor Dr. Nur Hidayah Muhammad Hashim, Dean of Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies, ICIS, University Technology Mara, distinguished speakers, Professor Datuk Dr. Abdul Halim bin Tamuri, Rector International Islamic University College Selangor, QUIS, Professor Dr. Ahmad Al-Raisuni, President of International Union Muslim Scholars, Professor of Usul Al-Fiqh, College of Sharia and Islamic Studies, Qatar University. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. I trust that everyone in witnessing this year's virtual event understands the challenges that we are confronted with now and will stand with us in protecting the well-being and interests of all. Today, we are gathered together for the International Conference on Contemporary Islamic Studies, ICIS 2021, with the theme Empowering Contemporary Islamic Studies, Pioneering in IR 4.0. First and foremost, I would like to express my heartfelt appreciation and gratitude to Yang Amat Berhormat Tan Sri Datuk Haji Muhyiddin Haji Muhammad Yassin, our Honorable Prime Minister of Malaysia, for agreeing to officiate the ICIS 2021 event shortly. Yang Amat Berhormat Tan Sri, your presence, although virtual, means a lot to the entire UITM community and all participants in attendance. This event is an opportunity to showcase the fact that Islamic studies is a critical field and a main thrust for national development in the face of globalization and Industrial Revolution 4.0. We now live in a sophisticated age where there is a high demand to meet the challenges of modern civilization, and through this conference, we have a viable platform to discuss solutions to those challenges. Scholars and proponents of Islamic studies must be able to share their thoughts and research findings in a manner that will lead to a healthy discussion to help people discover and create practical solutions to today's challenges, whether they are legal, financial, scientific, or social in nature. They need to be able to demonstrate how contemporary Islamic concepts can appeal to the current needs of society. UITM's Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies, ICIS, formerly known as the Center for Islamic Thought and Understanding, CITU, plays a very important role in ensuring that this university's mission and vision of producing Bumiputra professionals who are competitive in the modern world yet are still grounded in sound religious and moral values. In other words, UITM scholars and graduates must be able to think reformatively instead of being stagnant and dogmatic in their views. Ladies and gentlemen, with the participation of 15 countries, this year's conference has garnered nearly 300 paper submissions. Participants have highlighted contemporary issues in Islamic studies such as zakat, wakaf, and philanthropy, Islamic turath, Islamic astronomy, manuscripts, halal, Islamic family, fiqh mu'amalat, and Islamic finance. It is my sincere hope that this platform will push forth proactive, critical discussions and knowledge sharing anchored in Islamic teachings that have significant benefits for all. This will certainly help to further empower Islam in the future. On that note, I would like to once again sincerely thank our Prime Minister Yang Amat Berhormat Tan Sri Datuk Haji Muhyiddin Haji Muhammad Yassin for allocating time from his busy schedule to be with us here on this online platform. I would like also to thank our two keynote speakers, Yang Berbahagia Professor Dr. Ahmad Al-Raisuni, President of the International Union of Muslim Scholars and Professor of Usul Fiqh at the College of Sharia and Islamic Studies in Qatar, and Yang Berbahagia Professor Dr. Abdul Halim Tamuri, Rector of the International Islamic University College, Selangor, Kuis, for sharing their esteemed thoughts with us today. In closing, I would like to congratulate UITM's Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies, ICIS, for organizing this online conference that focuses on issues related to our core business, education, and the needs of contemporary society. Thank you as well to our main sponsors, Permodalan Nasional Berhad, PNB, and Bank Rakyat for their gracious support in ICIS 2021. Finally, a word of appreciation to our fellow partners, Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, UKM, International Islamic University College, Selangor, Kuis, Bank Islam, Koperasi Sahabat Amanah Ikhtiar Malaysia, Basnas Center of Strategic Studies, Puskas Basnas, Maqasid Institute Malaysia, MIM, Council of Deans of Islamic Studies, International Institute of Advanced Islamic Studies Malaysia, and Institute Terjemahan Buku Malaysia, ITBM, for making ICIS 2021 successful possible. To everyone, we look forward to seeing you again in the next conference. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Wa jazakumullahu khairan kathira. And thank you very much, Professor Technologist, Dr. Hajar Roziah Muhammad Janu. Ladies and gentlemen, before we continue with the opening speech, let us enjoy the corporate video from our main sponsor, Permodalan Nasional Berhad, PNB, and Bank Rakyat. Musyahadatu video syarikati minar ru'atir ra'isiyah.
Anda mungkin tak sedar, setiap sisi kehidupan anda, kami ada bersama. Setiap langkah, setiap permulaan, setiap bahagian, setiap hari sejak 80-an. Meningkatkan kekayaan negara dengan penuh amanah dan dedikasi. Daripada mereka kepada kita, daripada syarikat kepada masyarakat, sektor kewangan ke kaunter perkhidmatan, dari ladang ke meja makan, perbandaran ke rumah impian, jentera teguh ke lebuh raya kukuh, pelindungan perniagaan yang menjamin kehidupan, dan hasil ujian menjadi barang keperluan. Dengan warisan negara, kami bina masa depan bertaraf dunia. Biar tinggi atau rendah, kita bersama tak kira di mana dengan rasa megah. Dengan tiap pulangan pelaburan, tiap keuntungan yang dikongsi, tiap bakat yang diasah, tiap rumah mampu milik yang dibina dan didiami, tiap bantuan yang dihulurkan, tiap senyuman buat pelanggan. Anda mungkin tak sedar, setiap sisi kehidupan di Malaysia, kami membantu melengkapkannya, mengimbangi, memperkasa, melindungi, memenuhi, membina kekayaan anda, membina kekayaan rakyat Malaysia. Kami, Permodalan Nasional Berhad, PNB.
Kesenangan hari ini adalah hasil benih pengorbanan yang disemai generasi terdahulu. Sejarah memberikan penghormatan dan kemuliaan kepada Bank Rakyat dalam menelurusi dan mencorak perjalanan hayatnya. Pada usia 60 tahun, Bank Rakyat telah menonjolkan legasi penuh perkasa, semangat juang penuh berbisa, dan kecemerlangan penuh bergaya dalam menunggak perjuangan sebagai bank koperasi Islam terkemuka di Malaysia.
Pada kesungguhan dalam menempa kejayaan, Bank Rakyat menggariskan visi dan misi yang menjadi nadi kepada anjakan warganya.
Bank Rakyat menjadi bank pilihan oleh anggota-anggotanya kerana apa jua perkhidmatan yang disediakan oleh Bank Rakyat, ia adalah yang terbaik berbanding dengan apa yang ditawarkan oleh institusi-institusi kewangan yang lain. Kebijaksanaan yang ditimba daripada pengalaman lampau berupaya untuk memupuk sikap berwaspada dalam mengatur langkah mengharungi tahun-tahun mendatang. Anugerah dan pengiktirafan yang diperolehi Bank Rakyat merupakan testimoni kepada kejayaan bank sebagai pemain industri yang bukan calang-calang. Bank Rakyat bermula sebagai institusi rintis pergerakan koperasi. Pengasas dan pemimpin awalnya bukanlah pakar dalam dunia keuangan. Berat sang dipikul, ringan dijinjing sang. Bank Rakyat juga turut cemerlang dalam usaha melaksanakan tanggungjawab korporat, memartabat sektor pendidikan negara, meningkatkan sosioekonomi masyarakat, memelihara dan memulihara alam sekitar, serta gigih menghulur bantuan kepada yang memerlukan. Bank Rakyat turut membuktikan dalam catatan sejarah perbankan Malaysia bahawa inisiatif untuk memajukan sektor koperasi menerusi perbankan Islam adalah ramuan berharga untuk muncul sebagai bank pilihan rakyat secocok dengan cogannya. Bank pilihan anda.
Thank you for lending us your precious eyes and ears. Wa shukran. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, Yang amat berhormat Tan Sri Datuk Haji Muhyiddin bin Haji Muhammad Yassin, Prime Minister of Malaysia, will now deliver his speech and officiate the International Conference on Contemporary Islamic Studies, ICIS 2021. أيها السادة والسيدات، نستمع الآن إلى خطاب الافتتاح الرسمي لهذا المؤتمر الدولي الذي يتفضل بإلقائه المحترم رئيس الوزراء لدولة ماليزيا تان سري داتو حاجي محيدين بن حاجي محمد ياسين إذانا بالافتتاح الرسمي للمؤتمر، فليتفضل مأجورا.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Professor Technologist Dr. Hajah Roziah Muhammad Jano, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic International University Technology Mara, Professor Dr. Abdul Halim bin Tamuri, Rector International Islamic University College Selangor, KUIS, Professor Dr. Ahmad Al-Raisuni, President of International Union Muslim Scholar, UMS, Professor of Usulul Fiqh, College of Sharia and Islamic Studies, Qatar, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh, and a very good morning. Alhamdulillah, it gives me a great pleasure to address all of you at the International Conference on Contemporary Islamic Studies, ICIS 2021. Thank you for joining in virtually from wherever you are in the world. I wish to extend my utmost gratitude and appreciation to our educators and members of the academia for staying resilient and continuing to sow the seeds for our future in the light of the unique times we are in. It is very encouraging to see that you have embraced this new norm of going virtual to ensure you remain steadfast in your commitment to deliver your institution's core mission. I would also like to congratulate the organizing committee from University Technology Mara's Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies, ACIS, for your effort in bringing together scholars, researchers, and academics from around the world to discuss the issue of how contemporary Islamic thoughts and studies can inform and shape our role in Industrial Revolution 4.0. Such discourse becomes even more imperative today as we seek to explore new and inventive pathways for communities to adapt to the effects of the pandemic and rebuild their lives and societies. In Malaysia, Islamic thought and studies is seen as an essential element for the development of the country in a material or zahir sense and spiritual or batin sense that can transcend class, color, and creed. Aside from examining the new advancements which Islamic studies can adopt in thought-based studies, e-learning, and e-fatwa, thoughtful research that examines the ongoing momentum and challenges of Industrial Revolution 4.0 through the lens of the worldview of Islam or Islam's vision of existence is important to be carried out. Indeed, what we derive from serious research in Islamic thought and studies can help to enlighten minds and address a variety of topics that are most relevant during these current times, including post-COVID recovery for a more just and sustainable world. Ladies and gentlemen, the Muslim world must play a more proactive role to ensure the worldview of Islam or Islam's vision of existence continues to be properly studied to ensure God's pleasure remains to be our bigger concern in our march towards the future. And it is for this reason the government has adopted the Manhaj Rabbani, the divine path or approach, which is now an overarching government policy framework for Islamic affairs in Malaysia to give more authenticity and substance to the development of our country in the 21st century. Our Muslim scholars and universities are crucial in realizing this agenda of Manhaj Rabbani in Malaysia, where we hope a more ethical and spiritually fulfilling atmosphere can emerge in our country. And this demands that our universities to take into account the need to nurture men and women of adab or good human beings. Furthermore, our universities must produce scholars and professionals who not only can extend the dominant Western achievements, but also be brave to criticize the shortcomings in existing sciences, ideologies, and technologies, and create original contribution in various fields. I believe that through platforms such as ICIS 2021, more Muslim scholars and researchers will be able to lead the discourse and guide on how we best respond to the multifaceted disruptions the world is facing. Indeed, this dynamism makes for an attractive value proposition that can help motivate targeted stakeholders, which includes the students in your midst. When wisely applied beyond their communities, Islamic thought and studies can positively strengthen a harmonious and peaceful ecosystem regardless of ethnic and religious orientations. As the country's largest university, UiTM is well positioned to lead contemporary Islamic discourse and produce more dynamic yet responsible graduates in various fields of knowledge that will contribute to the development of a better Malaysia, provided that genuine scholars are consulted. To balance the demand for more opportunities, it is important to note that the university's good relationship with industry players that share its vision is one of its strengths. Attract the best so that you will produce your best. Hence, I encourage you to be more proactive in forming strategic collaboration with key talents and industries at national, regional, and international levels. Crucially, smart collaboration, seminars and university industry dialogue conferences grounded in research studies offer Malaysians from all sectors some practical and responsive solutions using new technologies that can improve our quality of life. I truly hope that events like ICIS 2021 will be a catalyst to inspire us to new heights. And this demands a concerted effort between scholars and practitioners and returning the trust to the rightful keepers that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us in Surah An-Nisa, verse 58. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Inna Allah ya'murukum an tu'addul amanati ila ahliha wa idha hakamtum bainan nas an tahkumu bid'al. Inna Allah na'imma ya'izukum bih. Inna Allah kana sami'an basira. Indeed, Allah commands you to render trust to whom they are due, and when you judge between people, to judge with justice. Excellent is that which Allah instructs you, and indeed Allah is ever hearing and seeing. On that note, in the name of Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful, I hereby declare the International Conference on Contemporary Islamic Studies 2021 officially open. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikumussalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Shukran wa jazita khairan. Thank you very much to our beloved Prime Minister. May his speech drive us to become a better person and to excel in various aspects of life. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, let's take a seat and watch a video montage prepared by the Secretariat in conjunction with the conference ICIS 2021. Enjoy the montage. أيها السادة والسيدات، دعونا نستمتع بمشاهدة فيديو المونتاج. thank you for watching. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, Alhamdulillah, the time has come for our first keynote speech session entitled The Role of Maqasid Shar'iyah in the Era of the Fourth Industrial Revolutions. And without further delay, I would like to welcome our distinguished keynote speaker, Honorable Professor Dr. Ahmad Raisuni, President of the International Union of Muslim Scholars, Professor Usul al-Fiqh, College of Sharia and Islamic Studies, Qatar University, accompanied by Associate Professor Dr. Azman Muhammad Noor, Sharia Committee member of Bank Rakyat, as the moderator. ضيوفنا الأجلاء وحضورنا الكرام والمشاركين الأعزاء، موعدنا الآن مع الخطاب الرئيسي الأول يلقيه الأستاذ الدكتور أحمد الريسوني. To Associate Professor Dr. Azman Muhammad Noor, the floor is yours. فليتفضل مشكورا.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you to the MC of the ceremony, Yang Amat Berhormat Tan Sri Datuk Haji Muhyiddin bin Haji Muhammad Yassin, the Prime Minister of Malaysia, Honorable Professor Dr. Hajjah Roziah Muhammad Janub, Deputy Chancellor, Academic and International, exercising the function of the Vice Chancellor University Technology Mara, Honorable Associate Professor Dr. Nur Hidayah Muhammad Hashim, Dean of Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies, University Technology Mara, Honorable Professor Datuk Dr. Abdul Halim bin Tamuri, Rector, International Islamic University College, Selangor, Honorable Professor Dr. Ahmad Ar-Raisuni, President of International Union Muslim Scholars, Professor of Usul Fiqh, College of Sharia and Islamic Studies, University of Qatar, Honorable Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Effendi Matrani, Director of ICIS 2021, collaborative partners, committee members, presenters, and participants. First of all, we extend our gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His bounty and grace, which has given us all the opportunity to participate in this International Conference on Contemporary Islamic Studies, ICIS 2021, with the theme Empowering Islamic Contemporary Studies, Pioneering in Industrial Revolution 4.0. I would like to thank the Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies, ICIS, University Technology Mara, Shah Alam, for enabling Bank Rakyat to cooperate as the primary sponsor in this ICIS 2021 conference conducted today. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to have an international scholar with us this morning. His Eminence Professor Dr. Ahmad Ar-Raisuni, Professor of Usul Fiqh, College of College of Sharia and Islamic Studies, Qatar University, who will be the first keynote speaker at the Conference on Contemporary of Islamic Studies, ICIS 2021. He will speak on the topic of the role of Maqasid al-Sharia in the era of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. So the Sheikh is well known to be among the top expert in the field of Maqasid of Sharia. Before I invite His Eminence Professor, I'd like to introduce himself. His Eminence Professor Dr. Ahmad Raisuni was born in 1953 in Morocco. He was born in Qasr al-Kabir in the Kingdom of Morocco. He spent his primary and secondary education in the city. He earned his bachelor's degree in Sharia from the University of Qarawiyyin in Fez in 1978. After completing his postgraduate studies at the Faculty of Arts and Human Sciences at Muhammad V University in Rabat, he obtained the postgraduate certificate in 1986. the postgraduate diploma in 1989, and the state doctorate in 1992. He is a former head of Movement of Unity and Reform, MUR. His intellectual lineage can be traced to the reformist movement in Morocco, instituted by Alal Al-Fasi. He is known to be one of the top contemporary experts in the field of Maqasid al-Sharia. Currently, he is teaching in Qatar, Morocco, and various other countries. Besides a leader position of MUR, 1996 to 2003, he served on numerous other organizations, which include a founding member and the president of the International Union of Muslim Scholars, member of the Board of Trustees of the Union since its inception. He was elected Deputy President in 2013. In 2018, he was elected the Union's second President after His Eminence Dr. Yusuf Al-Qaradawi resigned. International Institute of Islamic Thought, he previously served as an academic advisor for IIIT, an institution based in the United States of America. He was also editor-in-chief of the daily newspaper At-Tajdid during 2000 to 2004, and at International Academy of Islamic Fiqh, which is based in Jeddah. He is also a member and a researcher at that very famous institution. He has also been appointed as a visiting professor at the Faculty of Contemporary Islamic Studies, Sultan Zainal Abidin University, Terengganu, Malaysia. He is currently a professor of Usul Fiqh and Maqasid Sharia at Muhammad the Fifth University, Rabat, Morocco, and Qatar University. Without further ado, we would like to invite His Eminence Professor Dr. Ahmad Rasuni to deliver his speech on the role of Maqasid al-Sharia in the era of Industrial Revolution 4.0. نتشرف الآن بدعوة فضيلة الشيخ لإلقاء المحاضرة، فليتفضل مشكورا. Please welcome.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والحمد لله رب العالمين، ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم، وصلى الله وسلم على سيد المرسلين المبعوث رحمة للعالمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. حضرات السادة والسيدات الحاضرين والمشاركين والمتابعين لهذا المؤتمر الذي تنظمه أكاديمية الدراسات المعاصرة، أكاديمية الدراسات الإسلامية المعاصرة في ماليزيا، ويحضره ويتابعه نخبة من الباحثين والعلماء والأكاديميين ومن طلبتنا الأعزاء، فتحية لكم جميعا. وأتقدم كذلك بالشكر للجهة المنظمة والمنظمين لهذا المؤتمر الذين اختاروا هذا الموضوع، وهو أن يعالجوا قضايا معاصرة، جملة من القضايا المعاصرة في ضوء الفكر الإسلامي. وأود أولا أن أوضح المقصود بالفكر الإسلامي. الفكر الإسلامي لا يكون إسلاميا إلا إذا كان متشبعا ومستندا إلى الكتاب والسنة، إلى آيات الله وأحاديث رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الصحيحة، وأن يكون مستندا إلى قيم الإسلام وعقيدته وشريعته وأحكامه وآدابه. فإذا كان المفكر يفكر من خلال هذه المستندات كلها من الكتاب والسنة والشريعة والقيم والأخلاق والعقائد والمبادئ الإسلامية، فإن ما ينتجه يسمى فكرا إسلاميا. فالفكر الإسلامي يكون متشبعا، يكون مستندا، يكون مستمدا من هذه الأصول الإسلامية ومن قيمها. ولكن بعد ذلك الفكر الإسلامي أو المفكر الإسلامي يمكن أن يخطئ، ويمكن أن يحيد ولو قليلا، ويمكن أن يكون في اجتهاده نظر أو أن يكون اجتهاده مرجوحا. فإذا الفكر الإسلامي في النهاية يبقى إنتاجا بشريا ومنتوجا بشريا نعتد به ونحترمه ونأخذ به، ولكن قد يصيبه الخلل خاصة على مستوى الأفراد، لأن كلما اتسع الفكر الإسلامي وقال بالفكرة المعينة والمبدأ المعين والاجتهاد المعين عدد كبير من العلماء، فإن نسبة الخطأ تتضاءل أو تنعدم. إذا وصل الأمر إلى حد الإجماع فحينئذ تنعدم نسبة الخطأ وينعدم احتمال الخطأ، ولكن على صعيد الأفراد الخطأ وارد قليلا أو كثيرا بحسب علمهم وتعمقهم وتأنيهم وقدرتهم على النظر والتفكير. فإذا الفكر الإسلامي هو نوع من التجسيد للإسلام ونوع من الفهم للإسلام نعتد به، ولأننا في النهاية نفهم الإسلام عن طريق السلف، عن طريق الأئمة، عن طريق العلماء المتخصصين، فلا مفر لنا من الاعتماد على علمائنا ومفكرينا. والفكر الإسلامي لا بد أن يكون جامعا بين القديم والجديد، أن يكون جامعا بين القديم أي التراث القديم، لا تحدثت عن القرآن والسنة والشريعة والقيم والأخلاق والعقائد، لكن لا بد أن يكون مستندا كذلك ومترابطا مع تراثنا الفكري القديم، بمعنى الفكر الإسلامي الحديث والمعاصر والآني لا ينبغي أن يكون في حالة قطيعة وانقطاع عن تراثنا القديم. العلماء تكلموا في معظم القضايا التي نعيشها، ربما نحتاج نحن إلى اجتهاد في قضايا جديدة، قد نحتاج إلى اجتهاد في القضايا القديمة، ولكن نبني على القديم لننظر في الجديد. فإذا الفكر الإسلامي والفقه الإسلامي والنظر الإسلامي لا بد أن يكون جامعا بين أمرين، والأمر الأول هو أن يكون متعاملا ومستمدا ومرتبطا بأصوله وتراثه القديم، سواء على مستوى الأمة أو في كل بلد أو منطقة على حدة. لا بد أن نعرف ما قاله علماؤنا وأن نعرفه ونعترف به ونعترف لهم بالفضل، ولا نبني على فراغ. لا شيء عندنا يبنى على فراغ، لا شيء عندنا ينطلق من الصفر أو ينطلق من لا شيء. وبعد ذلك ومقابل ذلك لا بد للفكر الإسلامي حتى يكون نافعا ويكون سديدا أن يكون منغرسا في عصره، وأن يكون منغرسا في واقعه، وأن يكون على علم بواقعه. فالفكر الإسلامي الذي يتم إنشاؤه وتشكيله وتخليقه عبر الكتب وحدها وعبر المكتبات وعبر النظر المنقطع عن الواقع، هذا لا يعتد به، وهذا قد يأتي بأخطاء جسيمة ويأتي بأفهام سقيمة. فالفكر الإسلامي أيضا بالإضافة إلى رسوخه وارتباطه الدائم بأصوله وتراثه وبعلمائه القدامى والمفكرين السابقين، يجب أن يكون مستوعبا لواقعه، مستوعبا لعصره، وأن يكون كذلك مستفيدا من علوم عصره. علوم العصر من علم الاجتماع وعلم النفس والدراسات التاريخية والدراسات الإنسانية والاقتصادية والبيئية إلى آخره. هذه العلوم لها صلة بما نعالجه من خلال القرآن والسنة. فإذا لا بد من الاستفادة من التراث الإنساني القديم والجديد، ولكن بصفة خاصة التراث الجديد، لأن العلوم الجديدة تساعدنا وتمكننا من فهم هذا الواقع، لأن من يدرسون هذا الواقع ويقيمون الدراسات الميدانية ويتتبعون ما يجري في الواقع، سواء كانوا مسلمين أو غير مسلمين، يقدمون أشياء مفيدة ويصورون هذا الواقع. طبعا كما قال علماؤنا قديما: كل واحد يؤخذ من كلامه ويرد. ولكن على العموم الفكر الإسلامي لا غنى له عن الاستفادة من الإنتاج العلمي والنشاط العلمي والعطاءات العلمية لزمانه. هذا جزء من انغراسه في واقعه وارتباطه بواقعه أيضا. فإذا الارتباط بالقديم والتراث وأسلافنا والسابقين من علمائنا، ولكن أيضا الاستفادة من عصرنا واستفادة من واقعنا ومعرفة هذا الواقع المحلي والدولي. لا يتصور أحد أنه سينتج فكرا إسلاميا نافعا ومفيدا وفعالا دون أن يلتفت إلى واقعه، لأن الفكر الإسلامي إنما هو محاولة لتنزيل الشرع على الواقع. فكيف ينزل العالم أو المفكر الشرع على الواقع وهو لا يفهم هذا الواقع أو يفهمه فهما خطأ أو فهما قاصرا؟ فإذا تنزيل الشرع وقيمه وأحكامه على الواقع يتطلب فهم هذا الواقع، ويتطلب دراسة مستمرة لهذا الواقع ولمتغيراته. العصر يشهد تطورات وتغيرات متلاحقة. أيضا الفقيه والمفكر لا بد له أن يعي ويستوعب هذه التطورات وما تتطلبه وما هو فيها جوهري وما هو فيها شكلي غير مؤثر إلى آخره. فهذا من ضروريات الفكر الإسلامي الذي ننتظره من هذا المؤتمر وننتظره من المفكرين المسلمين في هذا العصر. وكذلك لا بد للفكر الإسلامي أن يكون على اطلاع معمق وموسع على مقاصد الشريعة، لأن الكثير جدا من قضايا هذا العصر قد لا نجد فيها نصوصا، قد لا نجد فيها الكثير من فتاوى علمائنا، أو نجد شيئا ليس مطابقا. فإذا الذي نلجأ إليه ونهرع إليه ونفزع إليه ونعتمد عليه هو مقاصد الشريعة، لأن مقاصد الشريعة تشمل كل شيء. حفظ المصالح، إذا قلنا حفظ المصالح فحفظ المصالح تنطبق في جميع القطاعات وفي جميع المجالات. وإذا قلنا الضروريات الخمس فالضروريات الخمس تمس كل جوانب حياتنا، الدولة والمجتمع والأفراد والأسرة إلى آخره. فإذا المستند المقاصدي والعمق المقاصدي لا بد منه للمفكر الإسلامي، لأنه هو الذي يعطيه سدادا وثباتا في الحكم. مقاصد الشريعة ليس كما يظن البعض هي وسيلة لتمييع الأحكام وسهولة التخلص من الأحكام، بالعكس مقاصد الشريعة هي التي تمثل الشيء الثابت والعنصر الثابت في حياتنا وفي شريعتنا. فلا بد للمفكر الإسلامي وللفكر الإسلامي أن يكون متشبعا كذلك بمقاصد الشريعة في مجملها وفي خصوص الميدان الذي هو فيه. وفي هذا العصر كما في العصور السابقة، ولكن في هذا العصر بدرجة أكبر، كتب العلماء ابتداء من الشيخ محمد طاهر بن عاشور وغيره ومن سبقوه ومن جاءوا بعده، كتبوا في مقاصد مجالات معينة: مقاصد الأسرة، مقاصد القضاء، مقاصد السياسة الشرعية، مقاصد الشريعة في الاقتصاد، مقاصد الشريعة في الإعلام، مقاصد الشريعة في التربية والتكوين. فإذا لا بد من معرفة هذه المقاصد كما يحددها العلماء، ولا بد أيضا من الاستمرار في البحث فيها، لأن الفكر الإسلامي أيضا يبحث في هذه المقاصد نفسها. فكل مفكر وما تخصص فيه، وكل مفكر وما توجه إليه واعتنى به. فعلى كل حال المستند المقاصدي يعني سند كبير وسند متين للمفكرين، فلا بد أن يرجعوا في ما يجتهدون فيه وما يفكرون فيه إلى مقاصد الشريعة، ولا سيما في الأمور التي ليس فيها نصوص أو فيها نصوص قليلة جدا مرشدة وهادية لا أقل ولا أكثر، ليس فيها تفاصيل، أو وقعت فيها تطورات هائلة يجب حتما الاجتهاد لها. كذلك مما يحتاجه الفكر الإسلامي والمفكر الإسلامي الجمع بين الجزئيات والكليات. والكليات من جملتها مقاصد الشريعة، ولكن عندنا في الشريعة قواعد، وعندنا في الفقه الإسلامي قواعد كبرى، وعندنا في أصول الفقه قواعد كبيرة. هذه هي التي تسمى الكليات. الكليات موجودة في القرآن، موجودة في السنة، موجودة في أصول الفقه، موجودة في الفقه، موجودة في الإنتاج المقاصدي. ويقصد بالكليات الأحكام العامة المجردة، مثلا قاعدة تصرف الإمام على الرعية منوط بالمصلحة. هذه قاعدة يتفرع عنها الشيء الكثير في باب السياسة الشرعية. هذا هو المعيار الأكبر أو من أكبر المعايير في ميدان السياسة الشرعية. المصلحة، كل من حاد عن المصلحة فقد خرج عن المشروعية الإسلامية وخرج عن الشرعية الإسلامية. وكذلك كلية العدل والمساواة بين الناس، هذه كل كليات منصوصة في الشرع. لقد أرسلنا رسلنا بالبينات وأنزلنا معهم الكتاب والميزان ليقوم الناس بالقسط. فإذا كل ما حاد عن القسط لا يمكن أن يقول لنا أحد الآية أو الحديث أو السلف أو كذا. لا، القسط فوق كل شيء. القسط فوق كل شيء. من القسط استمد القرآن الكريم، من القسط استمد السنة، من القسط استمد السلف. فكل اجتهاد أو قول ينافي القسط سواء كان قديما أو حديثا يجب أن يعود إلى القسط، أي أن تعود الجزئيات إلى الكليات. ومن الكليات الله تعالى كما ذكر في القرآن الكريم أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم جاء يحل الطيبات ويحرم الخبائث ويضع الآثار. فإذا هذه كليات لا بد من مراعاتها. لا يمكن أن نجتهد فنضع آثارا على الناس ونضع أغلالا على الناس. لا، يجب أن نجتهد وفق رسالة رسول الله ومقصود بعثته لنزيل الآثار عن الناس ولنحل لهم الطيبات التي أحلها الله لهم ولنحرم الخبائث. فكل شيء خبيث لا بد أن نقف ضده إذا ثبت خبثه وضرره وفسده في الصحة أو في البيئة. لا بد أن نكون ضده. وكل شيء طيب لا بد أن ندافع عن حليته ومشروعيته. هذا كله يستمد من الكليات. ومن الكليات أن لا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى أو ولا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى. لا يمكن أن نقبل اجتهادا يحمل الناس ما لم يفعلوه وما لا إثم لهم فيه وما لا دور لهم فيه ولا تقصير لهم فيه، وأن يحملوا مسؤولية ما فعله غيرهم. كما يقال اليوم العقاب الجماعي للشعوب بسبب دعوة كذا أو كذا. لا، هذا مما يدخل في قاعدة أنك تحمل الناس وزرا لم يفعلوه. لا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى. هكذا هذه كليات كثيرة يحتاجها الفكر الإسلامي المعاصر ويحتاجها الفكر الإسلامي في كل وقت وحين. المهم لا بد من استحضارها وعدم الغفلة عنها، لأن بعض المجتهدين أو المفكرين أو الفقهاء إذا أرادوا النظر في موضوع أو الإفتاء فيه أو إبداء الرأي فيه يرجعون إلى بعض الآثار وبعض الأحاديث الضعيفة أو الحسنة أو المترددة بين كذا وكذا، ولا يلتفتون إلى القرآن الكريم وإلى كلياته وإلى أحكامه العامة. فهذه إخواني أخواتي بعض الملامح التي يمكن الاسترشاد بها، وأنتم وغيركم تعالجون قضايا العصر في ضوء الفكر الإسلامي. وفقكم الله وسددكم ونفع بكم، والحمد لله رب العالمين.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. وجزاكم الله خير الجزاء. Thank you very much. May we benefit from the sharing and insights from the Professor Dr. Ahmad Raisuli. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, let us continue with our second keynote speech sessions on the title, The Strength of Islamic Studies in the Current Evolution of the Industrial Revolution 4.0. Thus, I would like to call upon our respected speaker, Yang berbahagia, Profesor Dr. Abdul Halim bin Tamuri, Rector, International Islamic University College Selangor, Quiz, to present his speech. الخطاب الرئيسي الثاني يلقيه الأستاذ الدكتور دكتور عبد الحليم بن تاموري، فليتفضل مأجورا.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah. Thank to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the opportunity to attend this big conference, a conference organized by Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies, ICIS, UITM Salam. And this conference is very important in order to discuss about the Islamic studies, especially in facing what we call it the Industrial Revolution 4.0. And first of all, I would like to thank the ICIS for inviting me to present this paper. And this is a very good opportunity for us to discuss many things, especially about technology, about Islamic studies in facing the challenges of Industrial Revolution 4.0, what we call IR 4.0. Ladies and gentlemen, the topic as given to me is a big topic. It's about the strengths of Islamic studies in the current evolution of the Industrial Revolution 4.0. And I hope that our discussion can be fruitful in future. Then maybe some of my ideas can be used, then can be taken as one of the many steps of that we should do in to ensure that Islamic studies play significant roles in educating our generation in the future. So based on this topic, I think it's a very topic that covered many aspects of discussion. I try to focus mainly on the how to look at Islamic studies can play a significant role, and what is step can be taken by us to ensure that Islamic studies can be seen as many people and can be implemented by many people as the important part in educating our generation in the future. So I will share my slide. I hope that we can look it into my presentation, and that if there is many and any ideas that can be taken from any ideas taken from my presentation, I'm very happy that I hope that we can contribute something important to the conference, and especially for the development of our generation in the future. So when we talk about the strength of Islamic studies in the current evolution of the Industrial Revolution 4.0, we may look into many aspects, and this topic has been discussed by many scholars, by many academicians. And when we talk about fourth evolution industry, so many of the discussion had looked about internet, about using laptop, using tab, using iPhone, then many things about web. But when we look more further, mainly is based on cyber physical communication. So everything is based on internet, based on e-books, e-mobile, what is called e-business, e-education. So everything is more electronic and based on cyber physical system. So it's developed from when we talk about industry revolution 4.0, IR 4.0. It starts from first, second, third, and fourth. So there are many differences that can be found in this step of revolution. Industrial Revolution 1, 2, 3, and 4. But mainly, the main focus of IR 4.0 is about technology, cyber physical system, using technology in many things. So when we look further, so it's introduction of my presentation. The era of enhancement of globalization and information technology, the influence of mass and social media is impactful upon the young generation, especially students and youth. So in comparison to the early generation, the society in the 21st century experienced the process of varying socialization and maturity based on the surrounding factors. And in truth, that the lifestyle of Muslims today cannot be equated to that of their counterpart in other nations, especially in the West. Since Muslims have recognized their Islamic values, their own beliefs based on Tawheed and Islamic moral will akhlaq. However, this is a challenge for us. How to educate our young generation to be a good Muslim. At the same time, they are facing many types of what we call challenges from outside. Globalization is no limit for us. So the latest technological advancement resulting in the Industrial Revolution 4.0 is a development that need to be addressed forthwith. We must be careful how we want to make sure that our young generation have a good faith in Islam, have a good akhlaq, have a good idea of thought in Islam. They have very good deeds in Islam. The challenge now is come to us as older generation or as teachers, educators. We must look this as important part of our life. So when we talk about Industrial Revolution era, generation, and the current challenges, in the era of globalization, the Industrial Revolution 4.0, everyone may obtain knowledge from their fingertip in accessing the internet wherever they are. So this is a challenge for the parents and educator who will prepare with the latest skill based on information technology and communication. The consequence is seen the wide generation gap between the educators and learners, and also between parents and children. So all generations have some problem to understand the younger generation, and the way around. So the young generation have problem to understand their older generation. So this is very important part, that how we want to make sure that the challenges can be faced, challenges can be solved. So it's up to us to understand the situation. In the effort to attain the aim of education, generation gap need to be managed well within and beyond classroom to fathom the differences and similarities between the generation. So we don't talk about classroom environment, university environment, but we must look further. We cannot only see in the school environment or class environment, but it must be related to the outside factors. So the ability to comprehend the digital gap will positively impact the manner of communication of educators and learners, and inculcate motivation to the learners to learn more effectively. So how we want to improve them to learn Islamic study in the future. So this is the area that we must address. So when we look at this generation, as mentioned by Tapscott in 2008, there are 6 divisions of human demography, which is called pre-boomers, pre-baby boomers, born before 1945, baby boomers, 1946 until 1964, Generation X, Gen X, we call it Gen X, born between 1995 to 1976, Gen Y, born from 1977 to 1997, Gen Z, Generation Z, born between 1998 to 2009, and also the final one is Gen A, Generation A, born 2010 above. So we look this kind of human demography between 6 division of human beings. So, of course, those who born in 1946 is different who born in 2010. And there are different values and attitude, maybe, or they maybe have similar perception on something that they perceive. Using technology may be different. Teachers also have some problem. The old generation teachers may have using face-to-face education, but now they are using technology. So this is a part that we must look together. How we want to cater this young generation. Ladies and gentlemen, due the acclimatization of virtual communication, the generation current is said to be lacking in communication and interpersonal communication skill, mean face-to-face. They may active in the social media, but when we meet them, maybe they are very, lack of communication, very shy to meet us, or sometimes some problem. They are very quiet when we meet them. But for me, this is that we must address. Will be there a new culture and noble values developed on them? We don't know, because they are using internet and we don't can face to face compared to the few previous system that we can meet every day, daily system that we can educate them directly. But now they are using communication through the internet. This is the challenge I face in confronting the generation raised in the area of social media. What about Islamic knowledge? Can Islamic education educate them in the current condition? This is a question that we must answer. What is strength in the field of Islamic studies and how it may assist self-development and current challenges in IR 410? Is the IR 410 most of life revolve around development of information technology and the internet? It now is become the main channel of information sources to be channeled through computer network worldwide. So now currently we can easily access everything through internet. So the iPhone generation can search many things. So are we ready to educate them and they can, how we can to educate them with the knowledge that they have, and everything that are we ready to educate them with our current knowledge, or we ourselves must improve our skill in terms of education, especially in the field of Islamic studies. So the use of technology has provided a noble implication which is more effective in education purpose of all subjects, including Islamic studies, because of the knowledge, of the skill, of the access that unlimited, so they can search many things. However, how we want to make sure that the knowledge that they have is correct. The development of website and application act to mean in assisting educators in their effort to offer knowledge and skill to the society. So this is what we call an assist to them. However, the use of computer technology is not to replace, it's very important, it's not to replace the duties of educator, but it's meant to create a more wholesome learning environment which is beneficial, effective, and meaningful. This is a tools. It's not, we cannot replace the teacher. It's a tool to help teachers and the students to understand what we are learned and are taught to them. The new media does not function as the information library. It doesn't only function as it's not only function but to assist the dissemination of information for publicity. It's not only that new media is only keep knowledge, but the more important there are dissemination of information to the people all over the world. It is also informed tools of community activities. This suggests that the new media is easily used and user-friendly. This development attracted more users in application. Now, how we want to use this as a tool of educating our young generation. Ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about Islamic studies in the IR 410 era, we very sure that lacking in religious knowledge is the main factor which cause problem in faith. Lack of understanding of Islam, lack of understanding of tafsir, the Quran, the hadith, or fiqh, or everything. So cause problem in our faith because it's related to the faith and our religious knowledge. This is evidenced by the confession of some who declared them a little understanding of the concept of believing Allah and the message of messenger that form a barrier against religious misconduct. Those who have little understanding of Islam may do bad things compared to those who have knowledge of Islam. So a comprehensive and universal understanding of faith is the main concern. So this, ladies and gentlemen, so this is that we need to understand. So people who have that declared that have little understanding of concept of belief Allah and messenger make form, they're not barrier against misconduct, so they cannot control the religious misconduct. So it's important for us to understand that In Islam, we believe that a good knowledge will provide a good deeds. A good knowledge will provide a good guidelines to prevent to do bad things. And good deeds, good knowledge is based on knowledge. So the failure to obey the command of Allah is grounded in the weak lack of faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, serious strategizing is crucial for a proactive provision of knowledge for the ummah from accurate sources and the frame thought to ensure the right way of thinking so the work of da'wah can be established rightly. Such ideas such as, today we are very, very, very disturbed with the term liberalism, pluralism, secularism, given teaching of Islam, ICIS, Daesh, other threat of commission of confusion from the society, which includes all the youth. Many youth have involved, also include the youth. Youth have misunderstanding about Islam because of this kind of knowledge that make the people do not understand correctly what Islam is all about. Among other influence factors such as Master of English language, ICT facilities, globalization, borderless communication, all the influence has improved these many things. Unfortunately, this everything, including deviant ideas and superstitions that still existent which threat the belief of Muslim. In this context, educators have to equip themselves of a wholesome spiritual, physical, and intellectual, emotional armament in the attempt to be highly professional educators to more generation of Insan Rabbani. The main foundation is to develop authentic aqidah, which Rabbani characteristics to become the true viceroy and the servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Prophet Ashraf said, is to propose the idea of faith-based education system. Prophet Ashraf says that we must have a faith-based education system. So based on faith. So education is based on belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He emphasized that the difference between the Islamic education system and the Western equivalent is the aspect of faith and taqwa toward as the main purpose. This view is certainly a variant with Western liberal ideologies which place absolute freedom of rational, while in Islam education system, the main aim is to produce individuals who are submit to will Allah, creator, means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Secular thinking will separate faith from worldly matters is clearly rejected in Islam. Faith and all knowledge areas have to be integrated to ensure that the learner is molded as vigilant and responsible to his duty. The separation of faith and knowledge has produced the imbalance that led to the chaos of earth. The spiritual aspect removed, resulting the limitation in knowledge sources in search of truth. In IR 4.0, the aspect of Muslim faith cannot be compromised for the actions of human development. So we cannot compromise the faith in order to make, thus for the sake of human development. So aqidah, the faith of Islam is very crucial. You cannot compromise this. So we must define our knowledge, our faith of Islam to ensure that human development is based on what we call faith-based development as faith-based education system. Without strong faith, Muslim will be lost in terms of determining the authenticity of Aqidah, values preserved, and the concept of right and wrong. As far as I'm concerned, any method ideas is accepted by Islam as long as benefit humanity and does not exceed the boundaries of Islam. We should focus to educate and teach our children to the core values that should not be compromised by anyone, since the values are integral part of human development. So this is part of the Islamic studies role. So how Islamic studies can become the foundation of human development. So this is the strength that we have. Basically, all human beings are the same, have similar substance and nature, but the difference are in the environment, issues, location, and time and situation where they exist. So Islam has standard way of principle. They cannot change. Human beings must follow the religion. So this is the strength that we have. The modern and religious society for the IR 4.0 should now strongly uphold the spiritual and moral ethical values. Since religion is the ultimate concept of human being, if our nation to have a balanced, comprehensive development in both mental and spiritual development. Indeed, Islamic studies play important roles to strengthen the body of knowledge as well its implementation in the real world in the future based on the concept of faith-based education. So this is that we want. So how we want to make sure that our system is based on faith-based education? Of course, it must be studied, must be founded based on Islamic studies, based on Islam and Quran and Sunnah, and then first of all from Islamic teaching. So this can be found. This is the source means Islamic studies. So we must understand that. So if we want our children, our younger generation become strong in the future and have a good belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of course, the most important thing is make sure that they have good understanding of Islam. So this can be taken from the field of Islamic studies. So it's very important for us. In Islam, it said that those who believe and who are good deeds is a two important element in Islam. So those who have iman must have a good deed. Must good deed have good iman, and this is called a good human beings. So now we look how to narrowing the gap between this system. As I mentioned earlier, there are two systems, what we call academic, so-called secular, and the one we call Islamic religion. So these two elements that we must make it together. So in restoring the greatness of Islamic education system, contemporary scholars introduce the concept of Islamization, such as Islamization of knowledge, knowledge integration, or integration. Although views vary on the matters, is still one of the practical steps in handling the current chaotic education thinking. So the inculcation of Islamic values will lead to the values integration concept known as the Islamization of knowledge. So we may have different terms, but the most important thing, how to make sure that the people understand Islam and believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This will generate Islamic knowledge field in the education system of Muslims that focus on the understanding of the oneness of God, which is Tawheed. Only by returning to the Tawheed will prevent mankind from the confusion of illogical imposed by the West, which is always shifting its aim and objective. So based on Tawheed, we can move from the confusion. So the confusion is when the West imposed us to be liberal. So it's very important that our system is based on Tawheed. So this is very important that this is the core that our aim is still the same, which is believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, become a good deed, and become a good human citizen. So we cannot change this aim because it's a main aim of Islamic education. Secular thinking, we separate the religion and worldly matters, is religion Islam. Islam accept this kind of thinking. Faith and the field of knowledge have to be integrated to ensure that human beings are molded into the vision and the responsibility in their duties. The separation of faith and knowledge creates an imbalance which bringer of chaos often. The spiritual aspect, when we remove the actual aspect, it creates limitation in knowledge and source in search of the truth. There is a need to solidify Islamic studies as a focus core, as the main core of the Islamization of knowledge based on Islamic studies. Without a clear understanding of knowledge in Islamic studies, confusion could deter the implementation of Islamic education system. So number 2 is structuring the standard of contemporary and Islamic studies knowledge. So I strongly believe that Islamic studies must be taught as a core subject at all levels of education, means from preschool and the tertiary education. So everybody must learn Islamic studies because it's the foundation of knowledge in Islam, the foundation of becoming good human being, the foundation of Islamic education. So every level of education, especially the formal education and also non-formal, Islamic studies must be taught as a core subject. So everybody must learn from the preschool until tertiary education, and after that followed by informal education. In the world of globalization, the issues of academic acknowledgement and recognition are crucial, especially when involving quality, certification, validation, and acceptance in job market. So we cannot run away from the issue. So we talk about recognition and acknowledgement. There must be equality. The main challenge faced by Islamic education institutions, especially in the South Asia, is the issues of mutual acceptance of the framework of Islamic studies is absent. So we don't have any special frame of Islamic studies. So we need to develop that. Therefore, a standard education framework has to be structured to be used and accepted in any country. So we have same standard. So this makes sure that in the future, say they have concept of knowledge and standard in forever in Singapore, in Malaysia, in Brunei, in Egypt, in Saudi, in Jordan, in Turkey, in Morocco, or in Libya, whatever the world. So they have standard of education. This example, that, for example, in the context of Malaysia, example, the ability of pondok student to transfer credit and further in study at university should be explored. We have to explore this. There are numbers of students who are studying in the pondoks. So they must also get access to the higher level education through the system that we can develop in the future. So another way is to structure the country of Islamic studies and contemporary education today. We may do another approach in high level education using a major minor or major program in different fields and combination of degree program, such as for example in university, a degree of accounting and Tafiz, degree in medicine in Tafiz Quran, degree of engineering in Sharia, degree of communication in Dawah, degree of creative media and Quran, degree in Islamic finance and information technology, etc. So there is many types of education that they combine with what is called the religious education and also what is called the academic education. We can combine it, and this one way how to make sure the structure of education is better in the future. It's one of the way. There are many ways, but it's one of the way I'm suggesting. Number 3, we need to enhance our research in the field of Islamic studies with the current needs. A niche of Islamic knowledge research should be developed so that it caters and solves issues faced by human ummah as a whole. So a niche of knowledge, Islamic knowledge issues must develop. So there are many types, but we should combine with other field of education, of research. So the combination of between Islamic knowledge as well as another knowledge is very important for us. For example, issues in health, finance, management, administration, science and technology, and also environment, for example, must be studied from the integrated perspective. A center of strategic research of Islamic and current research should be first be established at least at regional level. So Brunei, Malaysia, and Indonesia can meet together and support from other countries to develop a strategic center for Islamic and contemporary studies. So this must be developed. This center will focus on finding the structure of short-term and long-term action plan and provide strategic solution based on systematic research in combining contemporary Islamic studies to be applied in institutions of higher education at least at South Asia level. So first we start in our area, and then we can expand into the world. But we need to have a center of strategic research on Islamic contemporary studies that can to show how a niche of Islamic research can be explored. So we cannot leave what we call the final issue, the health, without Islamic solution. So Islamic studies will play an important part. Number 3, developing traditional Islamic studies curriculum at tertiary level. So this is what we call traditional Islamic studies. As mentioned earlier, the role of pondok and pesantren education system is still relevant in the Thailand, Indonesia, and Malaysian context. So higher education can play a better role. So we try to recognize them as a part of our system, which we're combining this so-called pondok system or the pesantren level with the contemporary studies. It will make sure that the role of Islamic studies become more important and important. The ability of this student is needed to strengthen the knowledge of Islamic studies enhanced at tertiary level. A curriculum based what is called based on Turas book. We start from the primary level until tertiary level, combined with contemporary knowledge developed systematically at higher education, need to be preserved and to improve. It's we need that part. We need to have this so-called Turas books and what called traditional education that we combine with the contemporary study. Inshallah, we believe that with combining between the so-called traditional and modern education, it will make that Islamic studies play important role, that make sure that in the future that our Muslim scholars not only masters in Islamic studies, but at the same time they masters also in other field of knowledge. Graduate from Pondoks and Thorough studies will be next generation to teach and expand Islamic studies and contribute to the development of national Islam. So I believe that when this student from the Pondok and Thorough studies have a good knowledge of Islam, have a good knowledge of other field of education, so they will become so-called educators in the future that can educate people, especially the younger generation, to understand Islam in the future, especially the IR 4.0. And number 5, we try to apply a merge in pedagogy, andragogy, and heterogogy in the field of Islamic studies and contemporary approaches. So in educating the generation 21st century, especially the IR 4.0, educators need to equip themselves with pedagogy and the latest approaches such as e-learning, blended learning, MOOC learning, mobile learning, and whatever is equivalent. So equivalent to them, so you must use the technology. So not only we have now, but we can explore this. So in terms of innovation, method of teaching and learning, and using for maybe in the future, we are using all the so-called yellow books, or the term is kitab kuning, not only kitab, but they are using the tablet as the main tools to get knowledge, to get information, and to keep their what called the tools book in their tablets or in their desktop, on their laptop. This to ensure that they will improve in the future, so they can know better, because you can access many kinds, but the most important, they must have a strong foundation of Islam. So this is part of the Islamic studies play very, very important role. So they must have strong understanding of knowledge in Islam. They have very strong knowledge in Arabic language. They must have strong in terms of what you call usul fiqh in fiqh. They have strong in aqidah. So this makes sure that when we're combining this kind of pedagogy and with the content, so both together, so they will make the field of Islamic studies become more relevant and more give big impact to young generation, especially for the young generation in the IR 4.0. Educators also have much standard to ensure the quality of Islamic studies reach the best of standard that we have, and it is crucial that educators advance themselves in teaching practice in regard to the pedagogy, andragogy, and andragogy. So I feel that as a teacher, we also must have a good quality, advanced than our student in terms of technology. So from this we can do better education for the young generation, especially for generation who live in the IR 4.0 era. So ladies and gentlemen, finally, as a conclusion of the study, encapsulating the urban education, the IR 4.0 era, the world without borders, and also tolerant globalization have significant impact on development of young Muslim generation. The effectiveness and the innovation of Islamic education system in Malaysia. So the context of human development, those who are developed require a strong foundation in the authentic teaching of faith, as only can face the challenges of the Industrial Revolution 4.0. The planning has to be structured well, as is the main framework in the effort to integrate the knowledge based on the concept of Tawheed to be applied in the education system and human life. The strength of Aqidah and the loftiness of the character, the true strengths that form a basis of dealing with the issues of challenges in the Industrial Revolution 4.0 era. The aggression of both Aql and Aql knowledge is a process to restore the wholeness of Islamic studies based on Tawheed. The idea of faith-based education system make the knowledge of Islamic studies significant and impactful to the development of IR 4.0. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I hope from this discussion, we may pick many part of ideas that we can improve our education, especially involving Islamic education. and particularly in the Islamic studies part. I hope that many academicians, researchers in this conference will give solution and suggestion how Islamic studies can give similar impact on our generation. I'm talking about because whatever we want in this world, the most important is to educate our young generation to make sure that they have a very good understanding of Islam, a good faith, they have good deeds. As Quran said, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu wa amilus solihat is very important for us. So I hope that in the future we can have very strong Islamic academy based on Islamic studies. So I still strongly believe that Islamic education, Islamic studies must be taught at all level education. So this is the strength that we have. So if they have a good understanding of Islam, inshallah, they will have a good understanding of Muslim overall, of Islam overall in their life, and also the most important, they have a very become a good human beings and citizens in the future. So thank you very much for inviting me. Give some ideas in terms of IR from 4.0 era. The topic of the strength of Islamic studies in the current evolution of IR 4.0 has been discussed earlier. So there are many strengths we have. For me, the strength is we have very strong and a very long, good tradition of Islamic knowledge, Islamic tradition from the Prophet Muhammad until now. So from this kind of knowledge that we have a lot of books, a lot of research have been conducted in Islamic studies, and this is a strength we have. I hope that it can be explored more, and the combination between what is called contemporary Islamic studies to our student and our academician can improve the quality of our student in the future, particularly in terms of human development, and also to become Insan Rabbani in the future, inshallah. Thank you very much again for inviting me, and especially for the Academy of Contemporary of Islamic Studies, ICIS UiTM. And may Allah bless us, may Allah help us. Inshallah, we can go better in the future. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته وجزاكم الله خيرا كثيرا. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Abdul Halim bin Tamuri. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the organizing committee, I'm glad to inform that the Secretariat will issue an e-certificate at the end of the evening sessions to all the participants who have registered via Google form provided. Furthermore, specifically to all UiTM staff, your participations will be counted in your training hours, inshallah. Thank you. Alhamdulillah, we have listened to both our distinguished keynote speakers. Before we begin with the industrial talk session, let's take a break while watching to the Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies ICIS UiTM corporate video. مشاهدة الفيديو عن أكاديمية الدراسات الإسلامية المعاصرة. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. Now it is time for the industrial talk, and we shall commence with Permodalan Nasional Berhad (PNB) to proceed with this session. I proudly invite Dr. Ahmad Basri Ibrahim, Head Sharia Management of PNB, to present his speech entitled Maqasid Sharia Instruments in Determining Sharia Compliant Investment in Malaysia. ضيوفنا الأجلاء وحضورنا الكرام والمشاركين الأعزاء، موعدنا الآن جلسة الحوارية الأولى مع القطاع الصناعي يلقيه الدكتور أحمد بصري إبراهيم. The time is yours. فليتفضل مشكورا.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلاة وسلاما دائمين متلازمين إلى يوم الدين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، أحييكم بتحية الإسلام، تحية مباركة عند الله، وأقول السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. My dear brothers and sisters, Alhamdulillah, we are indebted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. By His grace and blessing, we are gathered today in this conference. I would like also to express my gratitude to UITM, the organizer of this conference, for giving me this opportunity to talk in this conference. The topic that is given to me today, I am going to present to you the Maqasid al-Sharia instrument in determining Sharia compliant investment in Malaysia, in particular in PNB. So here, I'm going to talk about the practice of PNB in determining Sharia compliant investment. So now, we have transformed in our practice the Maqasid Sharia concept to mathematical formula with the weightage, merit, and as well. And by using this mathematical formula, we determine the Sharia compliant investment in PNB. Meaning to say, we look at the contribution of the companies to the societies. Beside the screening process that is given by Securities Commission, we have another screening process introduced by us. We are using Maqasid Sharia screening process. We transform the concept of Maqasid Sharia to mathematical formula. Okay, my dear brothers and sisters, how it is implemented. So we have two levels of screening process. The first level, screening based on Securities Commission Sharia screening methodology. So as we know, Islamic Global Index, SC as well, they have their own methodologies. And basically the methodologies focus on two things. The first one is business activities of the company. So that is tolerable benchmark used. For SC, they use 5% benchmark and 20% benchmark. So anything tainted income, any tainted income or any activities that is Sharia non-compliant, the income from it must be below than 5%. Okay, for example, if the company has investment in liquor, so the income from the liquor must be below than 5%. Okay, so for SC, they have 5% and 20%. 20% normally is used for rental income. If there is Sharia non-compliant rental income, the income must be below than 20%. And the second thing that is used by SC is financial ratio. Here, SC will look at the cash of the company, okay, must be cash of the company and also the debt of the company. So the threshold must be 33%, meaning to say if the cash over the total asset of the company is 33% or below 33%, so it's considered Sharia compliant. What is meant by 33% or below 33% here is the cash here is placed in Islamic accounts. So I means the cash here is not placed in Islamic account. If the cash is placed in Islamic account, so there is no benchmark. So it's considered permissible. But if the company have the cash and the cash is placed in conventional account, so the threshold must be 33% over the total asset of the companies. And the same is true with the debt. The debt, if the debt is conventional debt, must be 33% over the total asset of the company. So if the debt more than 33% over the total asset of the company is considered Sharia non-compliant. So if we go to Islamic Global Index, we can see 5% benchmark, and also they have financial ratio 33% for cash, 33% for debt, and they have account receivable and so on. But basically, these are the two things that are used by Islamic Global Index and Securities Commission. So in PNB, what we are doing, for your kind information, we have around 200 stocks. Okay, we invest in 200 stocks. So from these 200 stocks, majority of them met the screening process given by Securities Commission, meaning to say the Sharia non-compliant income below than 5% or below than 20%, and the financial ratio below than 33% in terms of cash and the debt. So in our investment, out of 200 companies, majority of them met the tolerable benchmark given by SC. So we consider it Sharia compliant based on the list given by SC, because this company met the tolerable benchmark given by SC. Okay, so we have the remaining stock which do not meet the screening given by SC. We have around maybe 50 stocks that do not meet the tolerable benchmark given by SC. So this is why we go to PNB Maqasid screening process. On top of SC screening process, we have another layer, we have another step, and we call it PNB Maqasid screening process. And this one that I said from the beginning, that this is the Maqasid Sharia concept that we have transformed to mathematical formula. Okay, so at this level, there are equities that not yet been listed as Sharia compliant according to Securities Commission benchmark. Will, like I said just now, is around 50 stock, and they will be screened again according to Maqasid Sharia screening process. And the outcomes of the screening will be presented to the PNB Sharia Advisory Council, PNB SAC, to seek their approval. So in general, we can say that we have two types of screening process. The first one, we use the existing screening process given by SC, and if the remaining stock do not meet the tolerable benchmark given by SC, we will screen again, and this time we will do self-screening, and this self-screening is based on Maqasid al-Sharia, or in general, we can say we look at the contribution of the companies to the society. Okay, the contributions of the company to the society, right? So some may wonder why we need two different screening process. Okay, why do we need two different screening process? First of all, manager, of course, in terms of origin of establishment, PNB is government aspiration, because PNB is established in 1978 with two mandates given by the government. The first mandate is to restructure socio-economy of Bumiputra. So this is why until today, our majority of investment is still in equities, in particular Bursa Malaysia. Okay, And the funds, origin of financial resources, from the government. So if we look at other unit trusts, pool of funds from public or private business. And aim of establishment, eradicate poverty, structuring community in terms of corporate ownership. But when we come to other unit trusts, the aim of establishment is commercial purpose. And investment perspective is national interest, but for other unit trusts is personal or company profit. And our target is mostly in domestic market, aid in the growth of the national economy. But when we come to other unit trusts, the target are various, including investment in the overseas. Investment objective, we have long-term growth strategy, national interest, importance of religion, Bumiputra, the needs for the professional human capital. We offer employment to the society, and when we look at the investment objective for other unit trusts, they are for profit solely through trading. So in terms of these points that I said just now, we see the difference between the investment in PNB and other unit trusts. So I don't think we are fair if we use the same yardstick to both investment, because in terms of origin of establishment, financial resources, aim of establishment, investment perspective, market target, and investment objective are different. This is why we need to have two different yardsticks. And like I said just now, we have the first one is we use screening process given by SC to determine the company's Sharia compliant or not. And the second layer, they are remaining stock that yet to be Sharia compliant. So this one, we do the screening, self-screening using our Maqasid screening process. Okay, now, my brothers and sisters, let us go to the detail of the process, screening process in PNB. As we know, when we talk about Maqasid al-Sharia, we have to protect it means that the objective of Sharia. So the ultimate purpose of Sharia is securing benefit and preventing harm. This is the ultimate purpose of Sharia. Any laws, any rulings given by Sharia, whether it is wajib, sunnat, haram or makruh, you just name it. So they are objective behind it. They are objective of Sharia, or they are maqasid al-Sharia behind it. For example, when Allah asks us to perform the prayers. So the prayers, what is the purpose or what is the objective of the prayers? The maqasid of the prayers is to be close to God, okay, to remember Allah. Okay, this is the purpose. So this is the example of protection of religion, because when we perform the prayers, we protect our religion, we protect our faith, we perform zakat payment, we perform hajj, we perform the fasting. So these are activities, these are the deeds that come to protect the religion. Okay, so when we talk about Maqasid Sharia, first, the ultimate purpose is securing benefit and preventing harm. But this can be cascaded down to protection of 5 essential elements. They are protection of religion, protection of nafs, life, protection of property, mal, and protection of progeny, nasl, and protection of intellect or akal. Okay, so based on this maqasid, we have 5 essential elements of maqasid. Okay, like I said, any acts, any commands given by the God, any prohibition or given by the God, they are for the maqasid sharia to protect these 5 essentials. Okay, to protect these 5 essential elements. Okay, protection of religion, like I said. How do we protect the religion? Through the pillars of Islam, by performing the pillars of Islam, by performing the act to defend the religion and so on. So this is the protection of religion. And to protect the nafs, to protect the life, of course, we need to live in peace. We need to have infra in terms of good living and so on. So food, water, good environment, this is the protection of life. And protection of property, of course, we are allowed to perform trading, we are allowed to do business, to work, and so on. So the salary that we get and the business that we do is protected, is our right to do that, and also we are prohibited from doing unjust to other peoples, like prohibited things that are mentioned by God, like usury, rashwa, bribery, and so on. So this is protection of man. Protection of nasl, Allah asks us to protect our dignity, okay, to protect our marwah, to protect our lineage, and so on. So this is the protection of nasl. And the protection of intellect, Allah prohibit us from consuming liquor. Allah prohibit us from do something that impact our intellect, and so on. So these is 5 essential elements, and as you can see, these 5 essential elements, they are interconnected and they are interrelated. So it's broad and wide. For example, protection of religion. If protection of religion, sometimes we need to have property to protect the religion. For example, Allah asks us to pay zakah, but how can we pay zakah if we do not enough property to do that? Of course, we must have certain amount of wealth to do that. So it is correlated with what? With protection of property, and it's also correlated with protection of life, because we must be healthy, we must be good to perform the deeds, to perform the good deeds, to perform the prayers, to perform the fasting, and so on. So and we must be okay in terms of intellect, must be good. We are not insane. So all these things, actually, even though there are 5 essential elements, but they are interconnected and they are correlated by each other. So this is why in our screening process, each of these five essential elements, we go to secondary maqasid, secondary objective that support the maqasid or the primary maqasid. For example, when we talk about protection of faith, actually, we also protect the dignity, to eradicate poverty and destitute, because of course we need to have money, to have property, to perform our obligation, and so on. Eradicate ignorance is related to intellect, so we must be knowledgeable to do the acts, to do the whatever ordered by God. So from protection of religion, we can have 3 subsequent, or we can have 3 secondary objectives, namely dignity, eradicate poverty and destitute, and eradicate ignorance. And protection of life, of course, we talk about security, the security of the country, security of the society, the security of human being, and eradicate diseases. So we are free from diseases, we are free from virus, and so on. So this is protection of nas, of life. We can go to the subsequent or to the secondary objective, namely security and eradication of diseases. Protection of property, we can have 2 job opportunities, okay, and also eradicate poverty and destitute. Protection of progeny or nasl, we can have 2 subsequent maqasid, security and job opportunities. And protection of aql, intellects, we can have 4 technical expertise, technology, eradicate poverty and destitute, eradicate ignorance. So from the 5 essential elements of maqasid, we can have a breakdown to have another 8 8 maqasid, and this 8 maqasid can be measured, and this 8 maqasid we transform to mathematical formula, because if we depend on 5 essential elements, they are too big and they are broad and they are interconnected between each other, so very difficult to us to have the weightage for each of them and to have the merit when we do the mathematical formula. This is why in our maqasid screening process, instead of 5 protection or 5 essential elements that must be protected by Sharia, we go to 8 subsequent objective, or we go to 8 secondary maqasid, secondary objective, and these 8 elements, we measure it, we put the weightage for each of them, and we have the formula, and at the end we have the merit for each the company that have this element, and we can value the company whether it is essential, daruriyat, or hajiyat, complementary, or tahsiniyat, accessories. Okay, so this is the idea of maqasid screening process. Let me summarize it in a simple way. So we have 5 essential elements of maqasid, but when we do maqasid screening process, we break down it to 8 essential elements, and this 8 essential element can be measured. They have their own weightage and they have their own merits, and based on this weightage and merit, we can determine the company, or we can classify the company. Either the companies belong to daruriyat, essentials, or hajiyat, complementary, or tahsiniyat, accessories. Okay, so this is the modus operandi of our screening process. Okay, we have 3 layers of screening process, or we have 3 stages of screening process. Okay, let me recap what we said in the beginning, that in our stock, or in our universe of stock, in our investment, we have 200 stock. Majority of them are Sharia compliant based on SC screening process, but around 50 companies are yet to be Sharia compliant. So these 50 companies, we will do self-screening process based on maqasid. So what we do first? First, we identify strategic sectors. Okay, we identify strategic sectors. So these are the strategic sectors: ONG, plantation, financial services, tourism, business services, electric and electronic, retail and wholesale, education, health, telecommunications, infrastructure, agriculture, and TDN. Okay, so what is meant by strategic sectors? First, these sectors are major contributors to the country's economic growth in the long run. These sectors have the potential to be strategic sectors to economic growth and development. Third, these sectors have a competitive advantage in Malaysia, especially in strategic efforts towards the era of market liberalization. And the last one, these sectors are given focus by the government, because of this strategic role in the development of the countries. So the first thing that we do in our investment, that we identify the sector first, whether the sectors are strategic or not. So whatever strategic sectors, we can classify them in our investment for the first stage. Okay, this is the sectors that we can invest. Okay, this is the strategic sectors that we can invest. So it is broad and wide because we identify the sectors only, not the company per se. Okay. Second thing that we do, after identifying the sectors, strategic sectors, we go to the companies to the sectors. Okay. So just now I showed to you the strategic sectors. We have around 16 strategic sectors, right? 16 strategic sectors. So there are many sectors and there are many companies in these sectors. So the second layer, the second stage, after we identify the sectors itself, now we want to identify the companies in the sectors. Okay, company A, company B, company C. So there are many companies in the sectors. Now we identify the company in the sectors and we classify the companies in the sector into 3 categories: major, core, and trading. So we identify the companies in the selected sectors, strategic sectors that I said just now, and we classify these companies to 3 categories: major, core, and trading. So how do we know that the companies is major or core or trading? So we have 7 factors to determine it. We have 7 factors to determine the company whether it is major or core or trading. Okay, and each of these factors has its own weightage. Okay, each of the sectors has its own weightage. For example, when we come to sector number 1, or factor number 1, the shareholding of PNB Group and GLICS. So we have 3 description, 3 weightage. Okay, we have 3 weightage. So hold more than 33% share of the company, the weightage will be higher. 3. Okay, this is the highest weightage in these factors. 3. Okay, if we hold more than 33% share of the company. If we hold 5% to 33% share of the company, the weightage is lower, 2. And if we hold less than 5% shares of the company, the weightage will be the lowest, 1. Okay, so we have 3 weightage for each of these factors. What is the significance of this weightage? Okay, what is the significance of this weightage? First, we took this weightage because the more share we hold, the more possibility we can change the company from Sharia non-compliant to Sharia compliant. I repeat again, the more share that we hold in the company, there is more possibility that we can transform, that we can change the company from Sharia non-compliant to Sharia compliant. So let's say we hold more than 33%. We might have a nominal director in the company. So this nominal director can push the company. For example, if the company is okay in terms of business activity, the company, for example, is doing construction. So the construction is okay in terms of business activity. It is Sharia compliant. Okay, nothing wrong with the construction. Nothing wrong with the construction. It is Sharia compliant. So the activity of the company is Sharia compliant, but when we come to the financial ratio of the company, for example, the company has conventional debt with conventional bank. Okay, the company has conventional debt with the conventional bank, and the debt of the company is more than 33% of the total asset of the company. So the company now is Sharia non-compliant, even though the company is, the activity of the company is Sharia compliant, but when we come to financial ratio, when we come to the debt ratio, the debt ratio make the company Sharia non-compliant. So in this case, what we can do, if we have more than 33% share in the company, maybe we can have the nominee director in the company. So the nominee director in the company can push the company to restructure the debt from conventional debt to Islamic financing. So with this restructuring, the company will become Sharia compliant. So if we have more than 33%, more possibility to us to change the company. But if we have less share in the company, so there is less possibility to change the company. So when we come to less than 5%, so we do not have significant share in the companies, sometimes we cannot do anything. But if we have more, even if we can have more than 33%, we can push the company to be Sharia compliant. So this is why we have 3 different weightage. 3, the highest one, 2, the middle, and 1 is the lowest. Because of the significance of this weightage, the impact to Sharia compliant company, or the impact of the transformation of the company from Sharia non-compliant to Sharia non-compliant. And likewise with other factors, weight in index FNN 100 Bursa Malaysia, size of capital market, market liquidity, dividend yield, total asset, and sector leaders. So each of these factors, we have 3 different weightage, and you can see the description for each of them. We have 3 description to explain why these 3 weightage. 3, the highest one, 2, the middle, and 1 is the lowest. Okay. Now this is our formula in terms of determining the company, to classify the company, either it is major or core or trading. Okay. Come back to the main slide. So now with this with these factors in the hand, so we go to the process of we go to the screening process. Okay. Now we have, let's say we have 3 different companies: company A, company B, and company C. So like I said, first the sectors, these 3 companies in the strategic sectors that we have selected. Okay, now these 3 companies we measure the companies through the 7 factors that I said just now to determine whether the company is major or core trading. So how do we do that? There are 7 factors that I showed you just now. So there are 3 weightage of these factors, 1, 2, 3. So we go one by one. Factor 1. So if for example company A, factor 1 got 2, factor 2 got 2, factor 3 got 3, factor 4 got 3, factor 5 got 1, factor 6 got 3, factor 7 got 2. So the minimum, the result is 76%, and the minimum if the marks is 16, the minimum marks is 16, so the company is considered major. So how do we know these factors are available in the company or not, or the weightage 3 to 1 in the company or not? Through the annual report of the company. We go through the annual report of the company, so we can find these 7 factors in the annual report, and we can see the weightage from the annual report. So we can put whether it's 1 or 2 or 3, and at the end, if the result is 76% or minimum 16, the marks from the 7 factors, the result is 16, so we consider the company is major. So when we come to the company B, the same thing we do for the company B. Okay, we through the annual report of the company, we find the 7 factors and we find the weightage for each of them, and we put the weightage, and based on the result, for example, the company B got 7 marks, okay, 33.3%, so we consider is the company is core. And when we come to the company C, the same thing we do, and if the result, the marks is less than 7, okay, the marks is less than 7, for example, in this case, factor 1 and factor 7. For company C, factor 1 and factor 7 are only 4, they got only 4, so less than 7, so we consider the company is trading. So now we have the companies in the strategic sectors, and we classify the companies to major, core, and trading. This is the result. Okay, when we do the screening last time, okay, when we did the screening last time, this is the companies that we have screened last time. These companies, at the time of screening, if I'm not mistaken, in 2016, some of them currently are Sharia compliant. But in 2016, they are not Sharia compliant. For example, A-Asia Berhad and A-Asia X Berhad. Currently, they are Sharia compliant companies. But previously, they were not Sharia compliant companies. So when we did the screening in 2016, we go one by one. A-Asia X, Amanah Harta Tanah PNB, AMMB Holdings, Extro Malaysia Holding, British American Tobacco Malaysia. So in BAT here in 2016, okay, in 2016, when we introduced Maqasid screening process. So we do the screening based on 7 factors that I said just now, and we got the result. Some companies are considered major, some companies are considered core, and some of them are considered trading. Okay, so we have completed the second layer of screening process, meaning to say we have the companies, and these companies are classified to major or core or trading. Okay, and for your kind information, currently we do not have any more British American Tobacco. Okay, when we do this Maqasid screening process, but previously, yes, we did have British American Tobacco in our investment, but currently we already disposed British American Tobacco. Why we dispose it? Let me show the result of Maqasid screening process that we practice in PMB. Okay, now I think I have explained to you the second layer of screening process. Okay, I repeat again, the first one, we identify strategic sectors. Okay, first, only the sectors, not the companies. The second one, we identify major core and trading companies. And how do we do that? Based on 7 factors that I told you just now. Okay, now, once we have the companies and the classification, major, core and trading, we go to the third layer of the screening process. The last layer of the screening process, we call it Maqasid screening process. And this layer, we have 8 Maqasid justification, 8 objectives that I told you just now. From 5 essential elements of Maqasid, we break down to 8 subsequent Maqasid. So this subsequent Maqasid, we put the weightage and we transform it to mathematical formula. So what are these 8 Maqasid? They are job opportunities, technical expertise, security, technology, dignity, eradicate poverty and destitute, eradicate ignorance, and eradicate diseases. Okay, what is meant by Maqasid number 1, job opportunities? Okay, what is meant by job opportunities? Job opportunities mean offer employment to Malaysians, especially Bumiputras. So based on the annual report, again, we go through the annual report of the company and we try to find out who are the employees of the company, who are the majority employees of the company. If the majority employees of the company is Bumiputera, the company can get Maqasid number 1. Okay, the company has fulfilled Maqasid number 1, so the company deserves to get merit for that. Okay, this is number 1. Maqasid number 2 means technical expertise. What is meant by technical expertise? It is high technical expertise, meaning to say, if the company is involved in high technical expertise like aviation and so on, IT and many more, so the company has fulfilled Maqasid number 2 because high technical expertise is very important. Okay, Maqasid number 3, security. What is meant by the security? Security here means that we try to preserve the national security, and we consider these things are national securities. They are media, utility, health, transportation, basic food, defense, and real estate. So if any one of the company, be it major or core or trading, based on the classification that we did just now, so any one of this company is involved in any part from these 7 factors or 7 area: media, utility, health, transportation, basic food, defense, real estate. So it's considered preserving national security. So the company deserves to get Maqasid number 3 because the company has fulfilled the Maqasid number 3. Okay, this is Maqasid number 3. Maqasid number 4, technology. If the company has R&D, and R&D is very important for development of the company and development of the country. So if the company has R&D, the company has achieved Maqasid number 4. Okay, now we come to Maqasid number 5, dignity. What is meant by dignity? Dignity here, we meant by dignity here is board of directors composition or senior management composition must be 50 or more Bumiputera. Okay, 50 or more % are Bumiputera. So this is meant by dignity here. So again, we go through the annual report of the company. We look at the composition of board of directors, and senior management of the company. If majority of them are Bumiputra, so the company deserves to get Maqasid number 5. But if minority are Bumiputra, board of directors, only 1 or 2 are Bumiputra, meaning to say Bumiputra is minority in board of directors, and when we look at the senior management of the company, CEO, COO, CFO, and other senior management, so if majority of them are Bumiputra, the company deserves to get Maqasid number 5. If Bumiputra is minority, in senior management of the company, so the company does not deserve Maqasid number 5. Even though sometimes the employees are Bumiputra, or majority of the employees are Bumiputra, but the senior management and board of directors are non-Bumi, so the company can get Maqasid 1, but the company doesn't get the Maqasid. So to get the Maqasid 5, board of directors must be majority Bumiputra, and senior management of the companies also must be majority Bumiputra. So this is Maqasid number 5. Maqasid number 6 is eradicate poverty and destitute. So again, we go through the annual report of the company. We look at the activity of the company, CSR activities of the company. If they have economic development, CSR for economic development, helping poor, the needy, and so on. So the company deserves to get Maqasid number 6. Okay. Maqasid number 7, eradicate ignorance. So again, we look at the activity, CSR activity of the company. If they have CSR for education, giving a scholarship or a loan for education, so the company deserves to get Maqasid number 7. And the last one, Maqasid number 8, eradicate diseases. So again, if the company has CSR in health, the company provide a health center or contribute, for example, medical mission, supplement, and so on to the society, so the company deserves to get Maqasid number 8. So again, in this 8 Maqasid, subsequent Maqasid from 5 essential elements that we said just now, we look at the contribution of the company to the society in terms of job opportunities, technical expertise, security, technology, dignity, eradication of poverty and destitute, ignorance, and diseases. Okay, so having in hand this Maqasid justification, 8 Maqasid, now we do the screening process. Okay, now just now in the second stage, I told you that we have the classification of the companies, right? We have major, core, and trading. Okay, we have major, core, and trading based on what? On 7 factors. Okay, on 7 factors that we have screened. Okay, so now we have a company belong to major, core, and trading classification. So with this major, core, trading companies, now we screen again based on Maqasid 8. Okay, based on Maqasid 8. Like I showed to you just now, we have Maqasid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we screen again. So if the company is major, okay, the company is major, so any Maqasid that company achieve, company deserves to get 3 marks. Okay, for example, company A, Maqasid 1, the company do not deserve. Maqasid 2, so the company get 0. Maqasid 2, company do not deserve, so company get 0. But Maqasid 3, company deserve it, so the company get 3. Maqasid 4, deserve it, get 3. 5, deserve it, get 3. And until Maqasid 8. So if the company get minimum 18, okay, 18 marks from this screening process, so we classify the company as Daruriyat, essential, okay, Daruriyat. Now we go to the core company. Core company, when we screen again, based on Maqasid 8, so if the company get Maqasid, the company will get 2, okay, not 3. 3 only for major company. For core company, if company have maqasid, the company will get 2. Okay, if company do not achieve the maqasid, the company will get 0. So it's either 2 or 0. Either 2 or 0. For major, it's either 3 or 0. For core, it's either 2 or 0. So if the marks is minimum 8 and minimum 8, so we consider the company is hajiyat. Hajiyat is complementary. So, and when we come to the last classification, trading company, so it's either 1 or 0. If the company do not achieve maqasid, so the company get 0. If the company achieve maqasid, the company get 1. If the marks is minimum 1, so we consider company is tahsiniyat. So what is the result from this exercise? Can we go to the example, the result of the exercise? So just now I showed to you 10 companies that we have screened in 2016. Okay, in 2016, Asia Berhad, for example, the company from the second stage, the company is considered major. Based on 7 factors, the company is considered major. But when we screen again, based on maqasid, 8 maqasid, the company managed to get 18, meaning to say 75%. Okay, Asia managed to get 18. Job opportunity, many bumputra, technical expertise, very high technical expertise, safety related to transportation, technology, there is R&D, dignity, board of directors, minority, bumputra is minority. Eradicate poverty, we couldn't find in their annual report. Eradicate ignorance, yes, we found in their annual report. Eradicate diseases, we found in their report. So the marks for Asia, 80, so we consider it Daruriyat. Asia X managed to get 2,2,2,0,0,0, and the marks achieved by Asia X 10, so we consider it Hajiyat. Amanah Harta Tanah PNB managed to get 2, and the rest is 0. So the company managed to get 4 marks for this exercise, so we consider tahsiniyah. So look at number 6, British American Tobacco. Okay, British American Tobacco, from the second stage, it is in the middle, core. It's not major and it's not trading, but it is in the middle. Core company based on 7 factors. So when we screen again based on maqasid 8, we found that the company do not deserve any marks. Okay, any weightage from maqasid 8 in terms of job opportunity, technical expertise. We do not need technical expertise in tobacco, right? Safety, no technology, no dignity, no eradication of poverty, ignorance or diseases. So company for BAT in 2016, based on maqasid screen process, we proposed that we dispose this stock. Alhamdulillah, yes, since then, we do not invest anymore in British American Tobacco. Okay, so and the rest is true with the screening process. Based on maqasid 8, we screen one by one and we look at the scoring, the marks, the full marks given to them, and we consider them either daruriyat, hajiyat, or tahsiniyat. Essentials, complementary, and also accessories, okay, or embellishment. Okay, all right. So based on this category, now we have, like I said just now, 200 companies. For example, we have 200 companies, 200 stock, 150 Ashraf compliant based on Securities Commission screening process. 50 are yet to be Sharia compliant. So we screen again, first stage, second stage, third stage, maqasid screen process, and we can have the result. There are companies Daruriyat belong to Daruriyat, there are companies belong to Hajiyat, and there are companies belong to Tahsiniyat. So based on this report, the companies, the name of the companies, and the result, Daruriyat, Hajiyat, Tahsiniyat, we table to our Sharia board to get approval of them, so we can invest in these companies after getting approval from our Sharia board based on this PNB maqasid screening process. And this is why I said from the beginning, we talk about maqasid, Sharia concept, protection of 5 essential elements and so on. But in PNB, we have practiced Maqasid al-Sharia instrument as the mechanism to determine whether the company is Sharia compliant or not. So we have our structure, first layer, first stage, second stage, and third stage, and we have the factors that we go through it. We have 8 maqasid that we go through it, and based on this structure, based on this screening process, we can have the Riyadh companies, Hajiyat companies, and Tasniyat company, and we can invest in these companies based on this classification, because we believe that these companies, even though they do not pass the screening process given by AC, but they have contributed significantly to society, in particular Bumiputra in the country. And this is our mandate for PNB. The mandate given by the government for PNB is to restructure socio-economy of Bumiputra, in particular promoting the corporate ownership. So how do we do that? By investing in our bursa, in company stock in our bursa, and because of insufficiency of Sharia compliant stock in our bursa, we have 2 screening process. One is SC screening process, and the second one is PNB Maqasid screening process. Having said that, I think I have come to the end of my presentation. I hope that you benefit from this presentation. Of course, we do not claim that it is perfect, but we think that we can do something for survival of Bumiputra in our country by having this Maqasid screening process. Aku li qawli hadza wa astaghfirullah li wa lakum. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Wa jazakumullahu khairan kathira. Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmad Basri Ibrahim. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, for the second industrial talk and also our final speaker for this morning sessions, I would like to call upon Associate Professor Dr. Azman Muhammad Noor, Sharia Committee member of Bank Kerjasama Rakyat Malaysia, to deliver his speech on title Bank Rakyat Waqaf Initiatives. جلسة حوارية ثانية مع القطاع الصناعي يلقيه الأستاذ المساعد الدكتور عزمان محمد نور، فليتفضل مأجورا.
Mr. Chairperson, distinguished scholars, distinguished speakers, collaborators, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First of all, I would like to thank the organizer of this conference, International Conference of Contemporary Islamic Studies 2021. And the organizer is the Academy of Islamic Contemporary Studies, UITM. I'm very privileged, and it is actually my pleasure to be invited to share with you some of my thoughts and also Bank Rakyat's experience in developing and also in taking initiative to promote Waqaf. And my presentation today is about the Waqaf initiative done by Bank Rakyat Malaysia. First of all, we have to understand the vision and mission of Bank Rakyat. And for your information, Bank Rakyat was established on 28 September 1954 under the cooperative Cooperative Ordinance 1948, known as the Cooperative Societies Act 1993. As an agency of the Ministry of Entrepreneurial Development and Cooperative, we are committed to support the mission of the ministry to consolidate the cooperative sector as the mainstay of economic growth of the nation via all the efforts and steps that we have arranged. We continue to expand our product range and customer facilities that are varied and innovative. The products and facilities include consumer banking, commercial financing, savings, and investments, as well as products of financial planning to satisfy the many demands of a wide spectrum of modern-day customers. Our vision and mission is in our vision, we wish to be Malaysia's #1 progressive Islamic cooperative bank. For our mission, we wish to enhance economic well-being of our members, customers, and nation. Bank Rakyat initiative for Wakaf. #1, we have done a collaboration with Majlis Agama Islam and Adat Istiadat Melayu Terengganu. And for this presentation, what I'm going to share with you is more on the cash wakaf, the recent trend in wakaf, where everyone can contribute, even though with a small amount they can get the reward of wakaf, or they can participate in the wakaf program that we initiate or initiated by others. And I think most of the Islamic financial institutions in Malaysia are doing their best to promote this wakaf and philanthropic initiative and activities, where the communities can contribute even with a small contributions towards this target or this objective of wakaf. So we have to bear in mind when we talk about wakaf is that wakaf is about habsul asal and tasbil al-manfa'ah. Habsul asal means to retain, to preserve the principle, and to tasbil manfa'ah means to distribute or to channel the benefits to the beneficiary. So what make wakaf different from other donations or other tabarru'at, other charitable activities and contract, is that in case of wakaf, there is perpetuity. It is not one-off, but rather with element of maintaining, preserving the principle of wakaf, where the asset of wakaf, which has been declared wakaf, is to be held forever. The purpose of wakaf is to be held forever, and then its benefit is going to be channeled to the charity or to the specific objective, and also identified beneficiaries of wakaf. So in case of this program, the first program, wakaf program, cash wakaf program that we initiate, it was a collaboration with Maidam, and we managed to collect 1,394,000. And this is actually the arrangement was like a matching grant, where Bank Rakyat will contribute the same amount of money contributed by the public, a matching grant. So we, for example, if we manage to collect 100,000, there will be another 100,000 donated Bank Rakyat for this purpose. And we think that this first initiative was successful, and we managed to set up a hemodialysis in Terengganu with the expense of 770,000, and it is almost 90% completed. And we aim also to not only for the medical treatment or for the health service, but we try to also aim at providing assistance, financial assistance for facility, infrastructure, equipment, research and learning and training, scholarship or financial assistance, and also for fundraising for the public, and I mean for the welfare of the public, and also for the business startup and existing business. This is for the long run. And the following initiative is actually more specific on cash wakaf. In the first place, the one that we arranged with Maidam was actually the typical cash wakaf as understood by Malaysian. What we understand normally when we talk about cash wakaf, we collect money, then we will transform that money, we buy, for example, fixed assets. So at the end, the money will be utilized to buy equipments or fixed asset, and then fixed asset shall become wakaf, subject matter of wakaf. But this number two, the cash wakaf initiative, we try to promote something which is different, and this is actually permissible by the Malikites and also by the Hanafites, and also Al-Majma' Fiqh Academy also allow this, and also our fee standard also allow this, and in some of the state fatwas in Malaysia, they are allowing cash wakaf where the cash will be regarded as the subject matter of wakaf. So the concept of preservation of the principle is still there, where the money will be invested, and the return, the generated return from that investment shall be channeled to the charity. Habsul asal wa tasbih manfa'ah is still, in practice, where we try to introduce something new. The subject matter of the wakaf is the cash itself, and at the same time we try to preserve the amounts, the value of the cash, which the cash wakaf, and then any return, any profit from it shall be channeled to the designated parties or beneficiaries, or for any particular programs that the committee of the committee of our between Bank Rakyat and also our collaborators will decide from time to time. But for the time being, I will take you through. For the time being, we have, for example, a number of programs. Through this cash wakaf, we try to raise funds for College Professional Baitul Mal Kuala Lumpur. The beneficiaries all subject related to College Baitul Mal, and we managed to collect 56,000, and the second one we in the pipeline, which is for University Science Malaysia. The beneficiaries shall be all subject related to USIM, but still we are negotiating with the Majlis Agama Islam of Negeri Sembilan for this purpose. The following is the most recent one, is our collaboration with Yayasan Wakaf Malaysia. This is actually the new model, and I think the industry also looks forward to having this kind of arrangement where we try to maintain the sustainability of wakaf, and also we want to maintain the dynamic of wakaf, where the money donated as cash wakaf will be preserved, will be invested and preserve the principal, and we try to generate income from the yield, and we try to distribute that yield or that profit earned from the investment to the beneficiary. So we have started this by the beginning of Ramadan, and we have managed to collect 76,000, and inshallah from time to time we hope that we can get more as the public are aware. For example, based on Bank Raya experience, we have another program. We have a special account for Korban project, and so far at the beginning, for the first few years, the public were not aware about this product. Not so many came and deposit their money in this account, but now we have we have more than I think more than 70 millions the cash in that account, Korban account, where the public are aware, and they are also interested to do the Korbani program with Bank Rakyat through that particular account. And for this particular wakaf cash wakaf program, the model is that the money will be invested, and 40% of the profit of the return will be channeled to the beneficiary, another 40% will be reinvested, and another 20% will be for the management fee. So imagine if we have a big amount. So now the volume is not so big, 76,000. Imagine if we have more than this, then definitely the amounts that we can distribute to the beneficiary will be more. Some were asking how to get the contributions. I have received from the public some like after school, they're asking how to get the financial assistance. I said this is still at the beginning, and we are expecting to get contributions from the public. The more we get, the more we can grow, the more we can inshallah generate income or generate return from the investment, and the more we can tasbil manfaat, we can channel the benefit to the beneficiary. Okay, these are the area or the scope which we try to share. In other words, in terms of beneficiary, who are what are the area. So the area will be education, will be health, will be economy, empowerment for the poor and the needy, and also with regard to the environments. So still at initial stage, we hope that with the money, with the contribution of wakaf, and with the income from the investment, inshallah, we manage to cover to provide assistance to these categories. Okay, the next is Jarih Al-Barakah. Jarih Al-Barakah is the program where Bank Rakyat is collaborating with Surau Bank Rakyat. In this case, we have initiated to diversify the bank's social finance instrument, primarily aimed in collecting infaq and sadaqah. We have managed for the time being to collect amount of money, and this has started since last year. We also aim to provide assistance to contribute for education, health, economic empowerment, and also welfare. And for the time being, the fundraise is around 288,000, and the fund distributed is 30,000. 5,000 for COVID-19 patients, and another 25,000 for the asnaf and also B40. This is actually still at initial stage because the fund is still small, and we expect that when the public are aware about this, and there will be more contributions and we can do more, inshallah, for the purpose of wakaf. The impacts and the benefits from this program definitely will be enjoyed by Bank Rakyat, by the collaborative partners, and also by the public. To the bank, we can enhance bank stability and prestige. We can increase brand awareness and recognition. We can also increase customer engagement and also greater employment engagement. For the collaborative partners, inshallah, we managed to create an ongoing source of income, provides a reliable source of income in perpetuity, and also this also will ensure the sustainability of wakaf. And also we could leverage on the bank's expertise and also banking facilities so that we can get trust, more trust from the public, and also we can provide independence designated for specific purposes and can provide a measure of independence from government grant. So for point number 2, inshallah, through bank's experience, there will be audits, there will be a special monitoring, especially when it comes to Sharia compliance. So whenever it comes to fees or any proposals or any kind of instrument of investments, then definitely we have to make sure that they are Sharia compliant. Okay, for the society, wakaf would drive towards improved socioeconomic standards by empowering the economy, harness the potential of selfless charitable giving in an effective way for better economic impact, and also to prevent social gap in education and health. With that, I thank you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wa jazakumullahu khairan kathira. Thank you very much, Associate Professor Dr. Azman Muhammad Noor. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, Alhamdulillah, we have listened to all speeches. I pray that the knowledge we acquired from the fruitful discourse will not end here, and that more can be deliberated in the future. كل بداية لها نهاية. وبهذا نحييكم مرة أخرى ونشكر لكم قاطبة على حسن متابعتكم ومشاركتكم في إحياء حفل الافتتاح وهذا المؤتمر الدولي خصوصا وعموما. With that, we have finally come to the end of our morning sessions. It has been a great day with all of you. But before we leave this online platform, once again, I would like to inform that the organizing committee will issue an e-certificate at the end of evening session to all the participants who have registered via the Google form provided. To all UiTM staff, your participation will be counted in your training hours, inshallah. For your information, the link to the Google form will be given from time to time by the Secretariat during the evening sessions. Thank you. That's all, and thanks again for your gracious presence and patience. God bless and good day to each and every one of you. Please do not forget that our evening session will start at 2 p.m. Till we meet again, let us recite Kafaratul Majlis and Suratul Asri. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wal asri innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilus salihat wa tawasaw bil haqq wa tawasaw bis sabr. Sadaqallahul azim. هكذا نبدأ وهكذا نسير وعلى الله قصد السبيل. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم وبالله التوفيق والهداية والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.